what's up guys, DBZONIC here. Welcome to the first Who Would Win redo video. Or it might be the first, I don't know. But let's get into this, shall we? The first redo is Shadow versus Cell, like I promised I would make. So, with the fact that I've just talked about Shadow against Mewtwo, and I've talked about Cell at least 3 times in the previous videos, links will be in the description below, or in the iCard, or at the end of the video. Anyway, let's get into it guys, no messing about, straight into it. Okay, let's compare strength. Now if we're talking about physical strength, it is debatable because Shadow's either a building breaker or a continental shaker, with the fact that he's comparable to Knuckles, who can cause earthquakes. And depending on the magnitude, earthquakes can either be a building level problem or a continental level problem. But given the fact that Shadow is a very powerful individual, I wouldn't put it past him if he can shake entire continents with his raw strength. But in terms of power strength, as of Sonic X Shadow generations, he should be anywhere from Solar System to Galaxy level strength and power, since he defeated the Metal Overlord, which originally took a super form and 2 super states, and Metal Sonic is comparable to that laser that Eggman had that destroyed the entire solar system cluster. So at minimum for Metal Overlord he could have been multi-solar system level, and seeing how Shadow beat him in base form, he also could have that scaling, or even higher, because as of the IDW comics, he should be a lot stronger. So base form Shadow could be anywhere from Galaxy to Universal level, with a high level of debate. Whereas in contrast, Cell's physical strength is planetary level, if not multi-planetary level, since he destroyed a meteorite twice the size of the Earth with no effort, like it was easy for him. And we all know in terms of power strength, he's a solar system level threat, but he was argued to be galactic level, since he was considered a threat to the entirety of North Galaxy. But if you also want to take certain statements from the anime, he was considered a threat to the entire universe. So it seems like they could be possibly even, right? Well, no, because we also have to factor in Super Shadow's power, and since he is comparable to Sonic both in Sonic X Shadow generations, and should be slightly stronger than what Sonic was in Forces, seeing how the IDW comics takes place after Forces, but before the events of Frontiers where Sonic is at his strongest. So we're looking at bare minimum a multiversal level Super Shadow, if not at his absolute highest, high transversal, or even, and this is debatable to some people, but I can see arguments for it, low omniversal. And unfortunately for Canon Cell, he cannot get to that level of power. Now as for Cell from Heroes or Xenoverse or whichever of the alternate universe stories you want to go off, he could get to those levels of power, because remember last time when I talked about Cell X versus IDW Metal Sonic, I said he could get to transversal level, but it is incredibly debatable if he gets to that level or not. At best, I would say that Cell is maybe multiversal to maybe hyperversal. And while that would be impressive, Shadow is already beyond that level by being much more powerful than Solaris, who was a hyperversal level being. So far in terms of power, durability, and strength, Shadow actually has Cell beat. But could Cell make up the difference in terms of speed? Absolutely the fuck not. You could give Cell arguable, immeasurable travel speed, seeing how in Heroes he was comparable to Goku and Vegeta, who have already broken the boundaries of time, and Cell can have inaccessible speed thanks to instant transmission, which is impressive for Hero Cell, but as for Canon Cell, he's only maybe 75 million times the speed of light, and only has inaccessible speed thanks to instant transmission, which is okay for him, but compare that to Shadow and oh boy. God. In base form alone, Shadow is multiple times faster than light to practically infinite speed. I mean hell, he was practically even with Sonic in their first encounter, and years prior in Sonic CD, Sonic was already running through time, which gets him immeasurable speed. And since Shadow knew the Chaos Control ability, which could warp and distort time, he already had immeasurable speed 2 times over. But we're not talking about Shadow from Sonic Adventure 2, we're talking about Shadow currently, and he would easily have anywhere from just the highest tier of immeasurable, if not basically irrelevant. I don't know if he would have the same level of irrelevant speed as Sonic would, but he easily can get into that category, no questions asked. So yeah, speed goes to Shadow very easily. And in terms of powers and abilities, Cell does have a lot that could give Shadow a problem, but Shadow has a lot of moves that could instantly erase Cell from existence. I mean, seriously, his Chaos Blast not only destroys on the atomic level, but given the fact that he's already more powerful than some of the most powerful gods in the Sonic verse, he could easily destroy entire multiverses with that Chaos Blast. Seriously, it's his most powerful attack, so I don't doubt that it could just erase reality at that point. So you have a reality erasing explosion attack. I don't think Cell's gonna regenerate from that at all. And Cell doesn't even have any weapons. Shadow has a sword, he has guns, and he can turn his Chaos Spear into a regular spear or a lance or javelin or whatever you want to call it. So I'm sorry, just like last time, even though I might got some of the calculations wrong, in this fight, even if you want to argue the fighting skills are somewhat even if you want to give Cell a small edge, having more knowledge of martial arts than Shadow, it's not going to matter. In terms of strength, speed, durability, powers and abilities, scaling, weapons, and almost everything else that matters other than fighting skills. Also, I don't think Cell can take advantage of Shadow's weakness, even if there was a way for him to do it. The winner of this fight is Shadow the Hedgehog. Hands down, no debate. Whether it's Canon Cell or Cell from Heroes or Xenoverse or whichever Cell you want to use, Shadow wins, hands down, no questions asked. Thank you all for watching this video. If you liked it and you want to see more redos, then let me know in the comments below, or leave a like, comment, subscribe, click the notification gong so you never miss a single thing I do, and make sure you always stay awesome, and as always, a Dragon Fist. Hiya!